Welcome everyone to the quarterfinals tie break between Sam Shankland and Andrey Esipenko. We are in the first game and we have Andrey Esipenko on our screen adjusting the black pieces here, and this is going to be a super exciting clash. Andrey Esipenko actually eliminated the highest rated player in the tournament, Vincent Keimer. Meanwhile, Sam Shankland has been absolutely impeccable by eliminating Vidit Gujarati, Richard Rapport, Daniel Dubov. And now both of them here, and Sam will be looking to sort of press with the white pieces. In the two classical games, there were draws that happened, and there we have. The players are ready, handshake, and off we go. Pawn to c4, the English. d5, we are going into the Queen's Gambit, decline territory, bishop e7, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, bishop comes to f4, and c6 played here. He pushes his pawn to e3, Andrey brings his bishop to f5, knight comes to e2, and now maybe you can go knight to g3. He goes h4. Some interesting preparation here from Sam Shankland. Knight f8. What a modern treatment of an ancient opening like the Queen's Gambit declined. f3 played, h6. Maybe a very interesting idea here was knight g3 or even pushing h6. But knight g3, bishop drops back to h7. And now Sam offers the bishop for trade, just like in the Karo Khan. If you think about it, what we have here, knight jumps to e6 attacking the bishop, is that the f5 square is a bit weak. Bishop takes h7. We have knight takes on h7. And knight to f5 played. Attacking the pawn on g7. Andrey takes, pawn takes, and so white structure is a bit destroyed here, and black takes the very bold decision to castle shot, because you know g4 g5 could be an attack. Queen d3 going for long castling here. Very interesting move by Sam, by the way, because it's not so easy to stop long castling. He plays bishop to d6 attacking the pawn on f4. g3 played, check, king f2, and now queen to d7 played. The knight drops back to d1. You want to get the knight to e3. Rook e6, trying to double on the e file here, and knight to e3 played. The game is heating up here. Rook a e8 by Esipenko, and rook a c1 by Sam Shankland. We go knight to f6 and rook c2 played. Pawn to b6 and the king moves to the side, but these black pieces are very nicely placed. Pawn to c5 hitting in the center. He takes, bishop takes. Now there's a lot of pressure on the e3 knight. Knight jumps to g4 offering a trade. You have knight takes knight, pawn takes, and now d4. So fantastic play, by the way. Queen d5 check possible. Rook comes to d1, and now check. It's important to play king to h3. If you block with the queen, I have rook e2 check coming in. King h3 played. Sam playing this pretty decently. So is Esipenko. Rook comes to e1. And while this is a possible check, there is a rook to block that check. So it's not fatal. a3, fantastic move. Trying for b4. That's an amazing move by Sam. a5, stopping b4. Both players realize that nothing much is happening. b4, whoa. Amazing. Takes. And now you can take here on b4, but a check means the bishop can drop back. He goes directly backwards. Now can we take queen takes d4? He goes rook h2. And rook to h1 played. I think taking here on d4 makes a lot of sense. He takes it. Andrey Esipenko is now a pawn down. And he goes queen f3. Very interesting move. If you take the rook, queen h1 is mate. So queen b2 played, trying to block any checks with queen g2. And you have b5. The b4 pawn is a weakness. And rook takes rook. Queen takes. Queen h2 played. And if you take the queens, it's already slightly better for white even. So Andrey needs to keep the queens on the board. He goes queen e4. He doesn't leave the queen and now leaves it. The b4 pawn is under pressure. Queen g2. He offers a trade here. Queen takes b4. And now queen a8. Now he goes queen to d5 there. That's an interesting move. Queen centralizing itself and queen c5. I love this. If you trade the queens, black is winning. The pawn is too strong. So you need to keep the queens as white. Queen to d3. What's the threat? I don't see it. Can we push b4? He does it. Pawn is coming down the board. b4. Sam Shankland has 1 minute 43 seconds. He goes knight e3, a bad move. He had to start attacking with g5, but not so easy. Knight e3, and now, can we go queen c3? Maybe queen c6 with the idea of queen h1 mate. He goes queen b6. He wants to push the pawn, but knight d5, getting the knight into the center of the board. And Sam Shankland, well, he's a calculation machine. He's getting into the groove. He's trying to calculate all the things. He goes knight to c4. And maybe he wants to put his knight on e5. Maybe he wants to block the b pawn with knight b2. Andrey has 1 minute on the clock now. Needs to speed up. He plays queen b5. I love this move. Pinning the knight on c4. Queen trades are all in black's favor. Queen b3. And now queen. Ooh, pinning here and also threatening a mate. King comes back. And black now brings his bishop out to c5. Fascinating game this is from both sides, playing so well, especially Andrey Esipenko. He goes queen c2. Trying to hold it all together. Queen d4 with the idea of queen g1 check. Knight comes to e5, but this is over now. We go queen g1 check, king h3 and b3, so that if queen takes b3, queen h1 is checkmate. He goes b3 first. That's a nice move as well. Because if queen takes b3, it's over with a check. So queen g2. And now queen g1, bishop g1, king g1 and b2, b1 wins. So queen g1 and Sam Shankland resigns here. A win for Andrey Esipenko with the black pieces is a huge one. Sam Shankland will have to win on demand with black pieces. Never easy to do that in such an event. Let's see if he manages to do it. Sam is back on the board, this time with the black pieces. He needs to be focused. Not at all easy. Andrey comes in. He adjusts his pieces. Esipenko just needs a draw now with the white pieces. That should be absolutely doable. And now the players are ready. Let's go. A handshake. And Andrey opens the game with e4, c6. The Karo Khan is on the board. Interesting. Sam didn't go for the Philidor, which worked for him against Vidit when he lost the first 15 plus 10 game. c4. We have the Pano Botvinnik, knight to f6, knight c3. And now there are many moves. Knight c6, e6, g6. He goes for g6. Pawn takes pawn taken. And here's an interesting line. If you take here, I have queen b3. So queen b3 or bishop c4. And if you take on c3, I have queen b3. Attacking f7. He goes back. Bishop comes back to b3. And now bg7. So Sam attacking the pawn on d4. Defending it with knight to f3. Castles and maybe h3. Stopping bishop g4 ideas is cool. Yeah, he does it. White is having a small edge out of the opening. Pawn to d5 played. So all well-known theory actually. Knight a5. Castles, and now you will lose the bishop, but your pawn on d5 is very strong. Rook e8 played by Sam. And rook e1. He goes bishop to f5. The bishop is well positioned here. And knight to d4. Attacking the bishop here on f5. And bishop d7. He drops his bishop back. And bishop g5 played. White having a lot of space in the position. h6, asking a question to the white bishop. And bishop h4 maybe in the wrong direction. He should have played perhaps bishop f4. But now rook c8. You are having pressure here. In fact, knight c4 was even better. But now d6, a very good move. No, he doesn't play it. He goes queen d3. And nbc4 would be very cool. Attacking, yes, he plays it. There's pressure on b3. There's pressure on b2. The black knights are looking great. Rook b1 played. And now getting the queen into b6 to attack the d4 knight. And the bishop on h4 does look a bit out of place. He plays queen b6. And now knight to e2. He brings his knight back to d6. Maybe there is somehow knight to f5 that is planned. Take the bishop. Take the bishop here on b3. He takes rook first. Rook takes rook and knight f5. Attacking the knight in the center. And if you take the knight, there will be bishop takes f5. It's incredible that Sam Shankland is actually playing for a win in such a tense game with the black pieces. Queen d2 played. Queen drops back. And now there is a chance to win a pawn. A free pawn on b3. And why not take it? Sam does it. Just take the pawn. He takes it. Queen takes b3. And Andrey goes rook c7. But the position is already difficult now. There is pressure here on e7. g5 played. Pushing the bishop away. The pawn on b7 is guarded. The pawn on e7 is guarded. Queen d3. Offering a trade of queens. After queen takes queen, bishop takes. Black is better. e2 knight is hanging. Knight c3. Now f5. You want to close down the bishop here. And he goes f4. Very exciting. And b5. What a move here by Sam. Defending this. fg. And he goes b4. Maybe it was better to just take hg. Knight a4 played by Esipenko. And he takes back the pawn. And now bishop to f2. Attacking the pawn on a7. You have a6 played here. Sam being very careful of all his possibilities. Knight b3 with the idea of rerouting the knight. But okay, this b2 square is covered by the bishop. So bishop e5 hitting the rook. And rook to b7 attacking this pawn here. Bishop comes back, blocking the rook and also attacking the a4 knight. Andrey plays knight c5 with just 14 seconds left on the clock. Tough move here. Rook d8 seems to be crushing. He goes bishop d6. And now Andrey is thinking the most natural move is to jump in with knight e6. He does it. But rook c8. Yeah. Threatening a check here. And bishop e1 attacking the pawn on b4. Pawn push. Interesting. Takes. And you want to build a mating net with g3 here. So pawn to g3 played by white. And now rook comes to c1, king f2. Check, king comes back. Slight difficulties to finish off this game. King f7 played. Knight g5 check. King g6. And now knight back to e6. He's brought his knight back. And rook to c1 played. The king comes up. Tremendous this game is. Now the rook attacks the pawn and white has absolutely no weaknesses to sort of latch on to. He goes king to f5, rook a8, and now taking the pawn just feels right. He takes it, knight f4, and we can actually even capture here. He goes check. King g2. And now rook d1. Fantastic play by Sam Shankland. Really, it's brilliant play by him, giving his opponent no chances. The king is coming in. And knight e6, attacking the bishop so that if you take on e1, I'll take on c5. He takes. Check, king d4. And now rook to c8 seems like a possibility. Rook to f5 seems like a possibility. He goes rook c8. And now rook e2 check, followed by king e3, and it seems to be a deadly attack. Check, king back, check, rook e3. He comes up. Rook comes to c3, attacking the knight. A check to the king, but now the king can hide from d3 to c2. He goes back, king e5. And knight to c5. And king comes to d5. Fantastic. Black king is already in the winner's position. Andrey Esipenko resigns. The score is 1-1. What a play by Sam Shankland, being 1-0 down in the match, making a strong comeback with the black pieces. He now has the white pieces in the 10+10 segment. So the tie breaks are quite unforgiving in terms of schedule. They happen back to back, and there you have Andrey is back on the board. The players are getting ready, and I'm pretty sure Sam is feeling really good about his chances after equalizing this scorecard. He now has the white pieces, and he opens with c4, e6. Oh, they are repeating the same opening. That's interesting. Sam this time doesn't take on d5, goes bishop f4 straight away. Look at how Esipenko is calmly making his moves. so quickly. Knight to f3, knight d7. He takes on c4, allowing the bishop to develop in one go. a6 with the idea of b5, bishop b7 and c5. Castles, b5 played, and Sam brings his bishop back to e2. Black seems to have equalized quite comfortably here with c5, and after d takes c5, knight takes c5. You can trade the queens and get kind of an equal position, but goes b4. Knight comes back to d7, bishop b7, queen b6. He goes queen b3. And bishop to b7 by Andrey. Rook comes to one central file. The queen has to move away. So goes to b6, and maybe the rook can come to the other open file. No, he goes e4 first. Wow. That is a very, very committal move. Now notice you can't take on e4 twice because the rook will take the knight on d7. So he protects the knight. Now the e4 pawn is hanging. So he goes bishop e3, queen c7, and now rook c1. The queen goes back to b8, and very calm play here by Andrey. He can form a battery here. His queen is looking on this wonderful diagonal, and look at knight g4 attacking the bishop. The bishop has to go back. That's not a good square. Queen a7 attacking the pawn on f2. Maybe bishop e1 has to be played. He does it. And how is black going to continue? Goes knight to e5, offering a trade of rooks on the d file. The knights are traded here on e5, king f1 with the idea of maybe f4. He gets his knight back, maybe looking at the dark square on d4. f3 played, and knight jumps in, attacking the bishop. Bishop f2, he's like, you can take my bishop if you want. bg5, attacking the rook here on c1. He goes rook c2. You can't take the rook. The queen is hanging. So e5 played almost instantly. Bishop d3. And Sam is in big trouble here. It feels like the position is easier for black to play. Has more space. The only thing that white has, the double bishops. Look at this maneuver. Actually, white doesn't even have the double bishops. Black also has the double bishops. So actually, black is really better. AB. He takes back, and knight e2, offering a trade of knights, and he goes rook d7, trying to double on the d file. Knight takes knight, pawn takes, and g3 with the idea of f4. He jumps in, bishop e3. Andrey is playing this calmly and coolly. Sam takes the open file, rook a7. There are several open files here. A file is in black's control. He goes rook e1, maybe not the best, maybe take and play rook c5 with a good position, but rook e1, and now rook a3, fantastic move. He goes rook to c5, opening up the defense to the bishop. Here, rook b3 played, and queen to d1. The b5 pawn is under pressure here. How to save it? Rook takes b4. He takes, pawn takes, and queen to c1. Andrey brings his queen in, attacking the bishop, and knight, bishop e2. And he goes bishop c4, a fantastic move, attacking the rook, breaking the communication lines there. He takes, don't take the rook because of bishop check and you lose the queen. Rook takes. Is the right move. He takes with the pawn. Rook d5 played, attacking the queen. And now queen to h6. Maybe a small chance for Sam coming back. King g2 looks like the move that can save him. Not easy. But Sam has to find it quickly. He has 1 minute left on the clock roughly. Opponent has 2 minutes 36 seconds. He goes h4, again weakening a lot of pawns. And queen f6. Now attacking here. Also rook coming in. Rook takes 3. And now rook b8, doubling here to give this. Queen takes, queen to c3. And a check. King goes to e2. No, he has to go to g2. King e2 is a big blunder because of check now. It's winning. It's winning. It's a huge moment in the match because now white has to block with the rook and that's over. Yes, check. Rook d2. He takes, rook takes d2 check, and if king takes d2, by the way, queen takes d2, rook b2, king takes, there's queen d6 check and a mate follows. Sam Shankland resigns in the first game of 10+10, which means Andrey Esipenko just now needs a draw in the next game when he has the white pieces. He needed that in 15+10 but couldn't get it. Will he manage to get it this time? Only time will tell. Fourth game, 10+10, about to begin. Sam Shankland is on the board. He's again adjusting all his pieces. Let's see how this game pans out. Now this one is super important. Andrey Esipenko would have surely learned from the previous game that didn't go his way with the white pieces. He had played e4. Sam had played the Caro-Kann. Is that the opening that's going to be again? Andrey Esipenko is here with a second. David Paravian. A handshake. And we begin. Pawn to e4. d6 played here by Sam. e4, knight f6. Knight to c3. He goes knight d7. And now e5 on the board. So we have the Philidor here and b3. Very interesting novelty by Andrey Esipenko against the Philidor. c6. Puts his bishop on b2. And now bishop to e7 by Sam. He goes queen d2. Maybe Andrey wants to long castle here. Queen to c7. And he's going for it. He long castles. Wow, what a player Andrey is. Yeah, he's no fear. He just needs a draw, but he's like, I'm going to play uncompromising chess. Bishop d3. And I think black should castle short. But instead he goes bishop b7. Maybe he's preparing long castles. That could be an interesting twist to this game. Both sides on long castle. g4 by Andrey. And h6 played here. We have rook h, g1. And now a6. Sam Shankland playing on both sides of the board. h4 coming in. Amazing. Andrey Esipenko's moves are flowing. He goes g6. Queen to e3 played. Black long castles. And now king b1. King b8 played. Takes, pawn takes, and the knight can jump to h5. That he does. Knight to e2 played here by Andrey Esipenko. The position is around even. I mean, here knight e2 perhaps not the best. a4 maybe, but okay, knight e2 played. c5. Well, maybe Sam should have gotten his rook into the center. And for a must-win game, very interesting position. Pawn takes pawn. Yes, Andrey keeping it simple here. He takes with the knight. And now you will see the d5 square is weak. So, knight c3, I love this move. Absolutely love it. He brings his rook to e8 and bishop e2. Now, looking in this direction, also knight d5 followed by rook d5. He plays bishop f8. And he takes knight takes knight. And pawn takes. Maybe rook takes was not that great as well. So rook takes rook. Taken. Rook takes rook. And he takes on h5. G takes. And we have knight to d5 played. The knight jumps in to the center of the board. Bishop takes, pawn takes. And now if you play rook takes d5, it's a very interesting move. Because if you go c4 trying to attack here, I can take and play rook d7 because bishop e5 has bishop d6. So instead he goes queen f3, attacking the queen and also f7. Nice move there by Andrey. Rook to d8 played. And now g6. He pushes the pawn forward. Pawn takes pawn. Rook takes pawn. And look at this. This bishop looking here. Rook b6. Queen looking here. He goes king a7. Queen takes h5. Fantastic play by Andrey. Sam needs to win here, which is too much of pressure. I don't think his position was ever possible to win, but maybe you can hope for some blunder still. For example, if queen takes e5, there's rook d1 check, forcing bishop c1, and you win the free queen. And he's about to take this with the bishop, I believe. Just to be 100% sure, takes queen to c5. And now maybe Andrey can give this check. It's a nice move actually. It's not so easy to figure the details out, but it's not so tough as well. Check, king b8. You can't go to b8. King a8. So he comes back and take, bishop takes, and rook g7, pinning the bishop. Check. You have to go king b2 and now rook d7. Very smart move. Bishop f6, you have takes and comes with a check. So he takes on c4. Takes and resignation there by Sam Shankland. Andrey Esipenko wins this game and goes through to the semi-finals, just one step away from reaching top 3 and making it to the candidate. Sam Shankland, well, his performance was insane, but once again he could not make it to the candidates, just like 2021 where he lost to Sergey Karyakin. This time it's against Andrey Esipenko, and Andrey will now take on Wei Yi in the semi-finals. I hope you enjoyed the match between these two wonderful players.